if I get another message about us going back to segregation, let me tell you why that's not going to happen. While understanding segregation isn't complex unless you're not from here, um, the concept of how we got desegregated is often debated, and it shouldn't be. And I say how, but it's mostly why. And it's because each time in segregation, black people were actually doing just fine. Cue Mary J. Blige. Now, it is true that we fought for equal rights and that we fought for civil rights because that's something that we knew that we needed. But as far as the segregation story goes, the one that you probably know is the one from your history book. And it talks about the waterboarding and the lunch counters and the marches. But some of you just now are learning about black civilizations that were doing just fine in America. But under these Jim Crow laws and under Jim Crow segregation and under racist regimes that have run the United States, those civilizations were constantly under attack. Now, we can get into the details of what exists right now. If we want to talk about the wealth gap, we want to talk about statistics, and then we want to talk about blame, right? We know who is blamed usually for, y'all know how this works. So it was imperative that they desegregated us because we continue to thrive even with nothing. I heard someone say, I don't know where I heard it, and if I could remember it, I would give it credit, but it was a simple statement. Black people have learned how to do everything with nothing. And that experience alone is a reason for them to want to desegregate us. You see, you can't take something, and that's another reason that we're not really responding or responsive to the attacks on this nation right now. Yeah, how can you continue to take something from people that don't have anything or anything based on your standards? So the next step is co-opting things that you don't understand, like woke, and that they won't stop there. They haven't stopped there. You can look, you can see, look at them and look and see what they've taken. There are a few of y'all that will continue to invite them to barbecues and cookouts regardless of what they do. But the way that they would want in if we were to segregate again. You see, they can make disparaging comments, and they do. They can make demeaning comments. They can implement discouraging and demeaning policies, and they do. Yeah, here we are. Still here, still smiling. And so they would want in. That's sort of how their version of racism works. I'll be racist. You can't call me racist. But my racism is just accentuating my narcissism. And I want you to want to be a part of. But if you believe revisionist history, and you might because it may be the only version that you heard, conceptually you think that we lack intelligence. You think that we are substandard. You believe that you are superior. You don't like any of those words. Racism, white supremacy, none of those words work for you. Yet you are all of those things. So this challenge is actually for white people that believe those things. You need to unlearn because not at this time or any time in the future. For me personally, y'all are out of chances. There's nothing else I need to see. I seen you. I heard you. I know what you're about. As things become fully realized, it's going to hurt because the expectation is built into your misinformation. That's how you portray us in movies. Think about the movies that they want to fund at the box office. I love my black actors, but I stopped watching any enslavement, anything about this country a decade ago. But they're happy to fund those projects. They're real, because that's where they subconsciously, whether they'll say it out of their mouth, and many of them do, that's where they believe we belong. So as I was going to get into the details of segregation or this segregation issue that's happening right now, and I feel more compelled to just leave that at that. It's not happening.